Hola. That was so lame. Hola. Welcome to the now moment with me today. Happy Tuesday. We are on Tuesday, right? We're going to talk about the now moment. We're going to talk about your 3D circumstances. To get started, I pulled a couple cards just to see what spirit had for me, and meditate on what to really bring to you and talk to you about today. And I pulled the card of Ojas, and this is a yogic path guidebook that Galactic Star got for me a long time ago, and I've been waiting to use it. Cards have to come to me. I can find certain cards that I can use all the time, and then there's cards that I wait until I'm called to them. And I am called to the yogic path because I've been on a yogic path, and it's the rest of my life. It's a long journey. It's the journey I'm choosing to go on, and Ayurveda is a sister system of yogi. It's Ayurveda is like it's another lifestyle, but they come together. Yogi and Ayurvedic. Ayurvedic medicine and Ayurvedic lifestyle tends to look at what we're putting into our systems, how our energetic field, how we replenish ourselves, and things like that. Our body chemistry is how we can work with Ayurveda so we can understand what's working for us and what's not. So I'm not going to go down that path, but I just want you to know that I pulled a card called the Ojas, and Ojas is an Ayurvedic term, and I'm going to read this. It is the subtle essence of health and well-being, peaceful and patient. So one look is all it takes to see how much Ojas someone has. You can pick this up, not even just with your eyes, it's with your feeling, it's with your knowing. When you walk up to somebody, why are you tired? Why do you look tired? Somebody might say to you, I'm not tired. I'm totally, I slept well, but they appear to you dull and tired and worn out. That's Ojas. That is what we give off to other people. All right. So have people been coming up to you and telling you how healthy, rested, and happy you look lately? Or is it the opposite of that? This is your Ojas, and Ojas is the subtle essence related to health and well-being, which you are filled with. You radiate good health with your glowing skin, peaceful demeanor, and patient essence. Your dietary and lifestyle choices are showing up in your appearance, and your inner state is reflecting your outer state. Continue caring for your sacred vessel and nourishing your body with foods and practices that make you thrive. And I feel called, this card felt perfect for today because I'm going to talk about the now moment and also about the 3D circumstances and how we are presenting ourselves to other people. And we're living so much in the future of wanting something, wanting to grab something, wanting to get something, wanting to have something. Or we're hanging out in the past about how something happened and how it shouldn't have and why you were victimized. And all those thoughts, energetic thoughts, are draining your body right now. Even if you're an avid you work out, you eat healthy, you do all kinds of stuff, your thoughts are pulling you in those directions. Now, if you also are getting pulled into some sort of depressive energy, you might choose foods that aren't good for you. And a burger can be good for you if you're in a great place. This isn't about a fitness guru up here. I'm not a fitness guru. All right. But it's about your mindset when you choose a burger. Right. But all these energies show up for you in the now moment, and we don't realize that this is how we're showing up for other people and how people see us, or what lens we're coming through when we react to people. So listening to how people see you and how people are reacting to you is very important for you to see how you're showing up. And why I'm saying that is because a lot of you have talked about triggers, and what's triggering is, or why you get triggered, or why you're seeing a certain situation show up for you in your 3D reality. This circumstance that's showing up for you in your 3D reality is a reflection of what's going on within you. But also, people are responding to the energy you're giving off. So you can try and show up to any situation and and think that you're fully being present and fully being there, but another person can tell that you're not. And you can act happy, you can be happy, you can act like this is what you want, you can try and manipulate situations and do so forth, but people can see the vitality and see the health within you. So if you're showing up continuously to a situation and you are in an unhealthy state, or your mind's in the past, or you're too focused on not having what you want, and you're not in the present moment, you're not living and you're not being there for the person or the people around you. And so they're going to react to that as well. They're going to react to that, and you're not going to understand why. But these are part of your 3D circumstances, and why it's so important to do some self-reflection and try and figure out where you are at mentally, what's going on with you. Because when you realize in the now moment that you're carrying all these stresses and burdens from not having what you want and not getting what you wanted in the past, it's tearing you up, it's draining you. When if you would take a breath and sit in the moment, you would realize that nothing else is really going on and everything's perfect, and you can contain your energy so that you would have enough energy to do what you need to do today. So having the discipline to control your triggers and control your reaction takes a lot of discipline and practice in silencing the mind. When you silence the mind and you don't carry these unnecessary thoughts, you are able to see what is going on around you and how you are showing up. And at that point, you can tell why people are reacting to you a certain way. Yes, I am tired today. I am tired. I didn't sleep well last night. You might, but in another state of being, if you choose to be in another state, you might be a little bit tired. You may have slept all last night, slept a good day, and somebody's going, you're tired, and you go, and I'm not tired, and you get defensive. It's because mentally you are tired. You are still in the energy of the past, and you've taken that on in your current moment. So another thing I want to talk about, and this is a lot of Alan Watts stuff too that comes from me. Alan Watts, right? Can you explain what happened yesterday? And most of us can describe what happens to us, right? I got up at this time, I did this, I made breakfast, I went to Pilates for me, and then I went to work, and we can describe all the distractions that we put in our way. We can describe our day because it was what we decided to do. But taking a step back, if somebody were to ask you what happened yesterday, most of us don't know anything that happened yesterday. The only thing we know is what we want to know and what we saw and what we think about. So there was millions of things going on around you yesterday, and you didn't experience any of them because your mind was so focused on past or not having what you want in the future. And then reacting throughout the day based on this mindset and this lens of not being happy or being tired and being unfulfilled. When, if you could have taken a step back and silenced your mind yesterday and took a look around, you would have seen that there was other things going on around you. So try and look at it as like, where were you at? What other situations were going on around you that were playing out and you didn't even see them? You maybe would have been able to enjoy certain things or had interactions with other people if you were not just focused on you and what you think is true. So today, the reason why I'm talking about the now moment is because we are in the now right now, you and I, here we are, we're in the now, all right? And if we take a breath and we silence our mind and we clear our head, clear our thoughts, we realize that I am in a room, I'm by myself, there's kids outside playing, I'm clear-headed, I feel well-rested, I'm present and aware and awake for you, and I'm able to present myself to you. You would know the difference if I came in here and was scattered, and I've done it before. You would know and you wouldn't feel connected to me. You would feel, and this is what we're doing outside in our worlds. This is what we're doing to the people that we're with. Why we're with people, our mind is somewhere else. But we want them to respond to us wholeheartedly. And yet we are not showing up for them wholeheartedly. We're only half present, if that. That's being kind, because most of us live in the future or live in the past. So to avoid triggers, it's about centering yourself so that you can see what's going on around you. And when you start silencing your mind and you start seeing what's going on around you, instead of just focusing on what you don't have and what you want, you'll start to see things show up for you and be, wow. Have you ever driven down your road and said, I've never noticed that store was there. I've never noticed this. I didn't know how good the air felt breathing in the air. I didn't realize I was shallow breathing. Shallow breathing in itself can make you irritated as shit. And you can piss other people just so irritable. If you're shallow breathing all day long and somebody comes out of the blue and pisses you off, you're most likely going to have anxiety. You're not present in the moment. So when we're trying to change our circumstances with affirmations, and I use affirmations as a way to guide you into how to change your 3D reality. It's not about totally ignoring. And so some of my points may contradict each other because there's varying degrees and levels and all kinds of different techniques you can do to do this. So they all work, and some will work for you and some won't. But in order to ignore and not get triggered, we've got to sort of detach from the 3D reality and continue to affirm that things are not the way they seem, just so that we can get an idea of what it's like to change your story about your reality. Because right now, you're only seeing what you want to see. You're seeing what you're focused on, and you're coming from a place of anxiety or lack or frustration and anxiety. I just said anxiety. But when you can come from a place of silence, even in the midst of the chaos, you can see that everything is quiet. The world is just moving around us, and things are always shifting and happening, and things are not as we think they are. And this applies to your circumstances with your SPs, with money, with your job. You come into your job half present, and you are already frustrated and already feel like you don't have what you want. No matter what people try to give you, it's not going to be enough, and it's not going to please you. You're not open to receive that. You only want what you want, and that's it. But here's the news. You keep focusing on what you want like that, you're going to keep wanting that for as long as forever. You've got to stop focusing so much on what you want and be as if you already have it. And to do that is being in the now moment, silencing your mind, not talking to yourself, not thinking, and breathing, and realizing that everything is okay right now, so that you're opening up the doors for adjacent possibilities. So maybe you are up against a really difficult 3D circumstance. You're not going to be able to ignore that. It's going to be hard to ignore that in your 3D reality. But you can continue to be present when you're in it, so you can choose different avenues to deal with it. At the same time, giving yourself a moment to remind yourself that this is my old reality playing out. I'm making shifts in my life. So I see that it's still showing up for me and it's triggering me, but I'm going to breathe and stop and say, this will soon pass. You have to accept where you're at in the current situation. That's where your thoughts have brought in the situation to where it's at now. You've got to accept it. So we're not changing the 3D reality on the outside. We're changing our complete way of being and mindset, so that we can be present to what's really happening. I took a critical thinking class years ago, and I actually aced that class. It was one of my favorite classes in the world. And how they would zoom up a picture, and we would have to try and figure out what was really going on in the reality around this picture. And our first assumptions of this picture is and it's always negative. Oh, this is that, this is got to be that, or maybe that's a boob, right? And then you pull it out and it's not, it's like something like totally, I don't know, a flower on a mountain, but it looks like a boob close up. I don't know. But this is what it's like in our mindset, our vision. We only see a little teeny portion and don't see what's going on around us. So we're not allowing us to see a different truth. So your first reaction is going to be what you get, and you're going to assume it's the worst. We all do. Most of us assume things are going to be the worst, and that's how it's going to play out for you. But if you were able to take a step back and pause and say, why is this showing up for me like this? Why does this feel so bad? What is going on here? You may figure out that there was a fight that happened. Say you're at work, there was a fight that happened, and your boss just going through a divorce or something like that, and brought her energy into the workplace, and it got spread across the whole place, and everybody had this dull energy in the office. And you already coming into there, you might be thinking, oh, here we go again. My coworkers, hey, they're being, you just start assuming your own thing. And you don't give yourself a second to take a step back, whether that is the truth or not. Maybe they are against you. Maybe they are coming at you. But you take a step back, you might even be able to see what you're doing wrong. Because nobody wants to look at what they're doing wrong in a situation. And most of the time, it's our attitudes and beliefs about what's going on in a situation. And we're not listening to other people. We're just going within, and only it's us, victim. So the now moment, practicing the now moment and being present in the now moment so that you can stop yourself from reacting to situations that don't have to even be there, that might not even be true. Whenever you show up against your SP, every time you show up against your SP, you come at them with this energy of what already happened in the past. And you're carrying that frustration. You're carrying that rejection. You're carrying that which is feeding into your well-being. And you're not taking care of yourself, so you seem like closed off. And your ojas, the subtle energy you're giving off is a very dull, depressed, anxiety-filled, miserable energy. Even if you're trying to be the best version of you want, but you've got this heavy burden carrying you and holding you back. So your person is coming at you while you're in that energy, and you're trying to fix a situation while you're still holding on to past energy. It's about centering yourself in the now moment. I'm up against my SP. How can this moment be completely new? How can we just forget about what we expect, what we think we want? Because I'll get into that in a second. And what we didn't get in the past. Are we still going to beat our person up about this? Are we still going to beat ourselves up about this because we don't have the whys? When are you going to give up the whys? Do you really know why? Do you really want to know why? Do you care? Or are you just holding on to an old story to make you miserable because you're comfortable being sad? Who gives a shit about the whys? Sometimes. Unless you're doing a major science project and you're trying to solve something for a Nobel Prize, half the time we're not going to get the whys that we're looking for. But that is draining you from the inside. Who gives a shit? And the now moment, remembering what it is that you're trying to embody, what you want for the future. So looking at what you want, but bringing that into the now moment as if you already have it. When you start to embody that, it'll become less triggering for you when the outside world shows up for you. You will see things, but you'll start to embody, and your health will start to come back to life because you'll be more focused on yourself. And remember, if you're not focused on yourself, and if you're not building your vitality, your partner or your person can sense that. And that's not attractive. It's not attractive. I don't want to go on a date with somebody who's bah humbugging me. And you might not think you're bah humbugging. You might be thinking that you're just trying to talk, but you're most likely talking about your problems. You're complaining about something. You're bringing up maybe a past. You're doing so. And another person's just like, look, we've got enough going on in this world. We're here together. Let's enjoy this moment. Let's have fun. And fun doesn't mean just have fun and ignore and give up your personal body. It's about enjoying the moment and expressing yourself and getting to really know each other again. Giving each other a friggin' break. Other people are not here to to make us happy. That's not their job. They didn't come through the birth canal signed up to say, I'm going to make Frankie happy around the age of 40. I'm here to sign up because I got to make sure I meet all her expectations. No. And we have this mindset that if other people hurt us or other people do something to us, they're on their own friggin' personal journey, and we have no idea what's happening to them. Even if they showed up to us as a villain, it's not their responsibility to fix what's going on within us. They're just trying to navigate. They don't know what the hell they're doing either. And yet we want other people to change for us and change the scenario and fix things for us. That's not going to happen. Nobody came here to serve us except God, you know? You've got to understand that. And just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean that you have the right to impose that on other people. And that's why they push away from you. Just because you're angry and you're in a reactive mood, nobody else has to deal with that bullshit. And doesn't even if they love you, they can walk away from you, just like you can walk away from the people you love because they won't show up for you in a healthier way. Nobody needs that BS. You don't, I don't, nobody does. The more we stay in the present moment and detach from these thoughts, the past, the future, and we stay centered and we just focus on our health and focus on being in the wish fulfillment, we start to embrace the universal energy, and we actually start to become more in the flow because we're open. We don't care about what happened yesterday. We don't care. We have goals, we have dreams and aspirations and desires, but we're not letting them consume us. We want an SP, but we're not letting it consume us. So we're open and we're relaxed and we're good to go because the only important time is right now. We may not be alive tomorrow. I know that sounds so cliche, but it's the truth. The only moment you have is now. And if you want to call in what it is you want, then you need to focus on the now and be happy and be present and take care of yourself. If you're not in that position, you're going to be in a position that you're repelling stuff away from you constantly. And it's really hard to get here. It's a practice all the time. I've been, you know what I mean? Like it's an ongoing practice. Nobody has it. Even the most famous gurus out there still have to practice every single day. Take an accountability for your own feelings and your own reactions and not making it another person's responsibility. It's nobody's responsibility but yourself. And as long as you do this and you're not willing to become aware of your states of how you're feeling and what's going on in your mind, it's going to be more difficult for you to pin a trigger. So when you are up against a trigger, without doing this work, you will automatically just assume that this person is showing up for you nasty or unwilling to budge for you or doesn't want you. And you're going to react from that state, and this person's going to take that energy that you shoot at them, and they're going to be like, I don't want that. I'm sorry. But when you start to become aware of who you are, people become forgiven. So even if you do overreact, but then you go within and then you center yourself and you figure out what happened, you can come back. You don't have to say anything. It's not about saying things anymore. Quit trying to talk to people. Quit trying to talk to your SP. Quit trying to convince them who you are. Quit trying to convince them, that you're making change, they don't need to know, and they don't really care. They will care when they see you making the change. That's when you yourself will only believe it when it's with somebody else. And the same rule applies to you with other people to you. So you can keep talking and trying to, this is why talk therapy. Go talk to somebody who's getting paid to listen. Because the people around you who are triggering you are showing up to show you where your wounds are. And they will continue to trigger you until you focus on your wounds and what's going on inside you. And as you start to do that work, people are forgiven. We're forgiven. We come back around and we just come together. We don't even have to say anything. It's an embrace and it's a vibration. It's an inner knowing of, I can feel where you're at. I see how beautiful you look today. I see how vibrant you look today. You don't have to say shit to me. I can see it. You don't have to prove anything to me. And when your SP or your bosses or anybody else sees this change within you, within your ojas, because when you start to get healthier and happier, you make better choices. So it doesn't mean go start cutting up avocados and getting on a strict diet. It just means being aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it. What are these habits and what's causing, you to feel this way or look so drained or be so drained? And when you start focusing on your own vitality and bringing life back into yourself, people are going to just they're going to come out of the woodworks and they're going to just be like, where the hell have you been? I haven't seen you, look so different. Right? So focusing on what you want. I was talking about this earlier. Where your thoughts go, energy flows. It's a known fact. I just spent the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes explaining that. You focus on something, you're only going to see what you want to see. So if you're focused on what you want, right, you're going to keep focusing like it's a goal. And you're going to place time, because we're clock people, we're time people. So whenever we start to focus too much on what we want, we really focus on time, and then we start to analyze and we start to see distance and we start to see it's taking too long, or is it going to come in, and we start doubting, and we want something so bad, but we're not allowing it to come in because we're doing that. We're wanting something so bad that we're telling the universe that we don't have something yet, and we're desperate and we want something, which is why I embody and already have it done, which is why I make everything a list. I make down a list of all the things that I want, but I put them on a list like it's my to-do list, like it's coming in, it's here. Then I embody the moment of, here I am, I'm centered. Now I need to always go back to embracing, I already have what I want. I am in that wish fulfillment, no matter how the 3D shows up for me. I'm controlling my reactions. I'm taking a little bit better care of my health. I'm focusing on how am I showing up for others, so I can take a look at myself. How are other people reacting to me, so I can take a look at myself? And as you're doing all this, right, you start to embrace the feeling of wish fulfillment a lot more. It starts to become more clear, because now that your focus is starting to open up a little bit and you're in the present moment and you realize everything's alive and everything is now, you start to open the doors and you start to see people pop up for you and opportunities pop up for you. But you have to be present for that. Otherwise, you're shutting it out. And when you embody that wish fulfillment, the universe feels it. It's an energy of abundance. So you may not have your SP in front of you, but you have this feeling of abundance. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you've got somebody wanting to talk to you about this, somebody asking you for that. You got somebody talking about a date over here, and you start to realize why my energy is changing. And those are signs that what you want is here, but is coming even closer to you. Your main goal is getting closer to you. You're in the alignment. So you can have all these desires that you want, but you have to come into alignment with them. And so this is the other thing here with that alignment thing. Some of you may have I know I need to come into alignment, but I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I don't think I'm good enough. What if? These are the things that come up when we're trying to get into alignment. And all the universe needs you to do is accept your current reality, decide what point you're at point A, your current reality. What's point B? This is what you want. You have a vortex, Abraham Hicks. Your higher self knows exactly what you want. Once you just put one foot forward and you take that leap, The universe, yourself, your higher self says, whoa, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And everything starts to orchestrate and come into play for you. It does. And the card here says direction. If you are uncertain, take a step in any direction. New paths will open up as long as you go. And I got faith. When you leap, the net appears. It will show up for you. That moment, the moment that seems the longest is the one just before you land too. So sometimes that one there gets me, because sometimes when we start to lose faith because something's been taken too long, that's telling you that you've been putting the work in, but you're almost there. You're almost there. So I'm not asking you to necessarily, just to kind of take a step back before I go into your questions, ignore your 3D reality may be very difficult. I try to get you to be aware of your 3D reality and look at it as, this is my old stories. This is stuff that's been showing up for me, but I can choose to have a different reality and see this from a different perspective so that I can change. If I change my focus, to focus on what I really want to see in my reality, those things will start to show up for me. Just like I was saying with the narrow-mindedness, you're not seeing the flowers sprout. You're not seeing the neighbors try and say hi to you. You're not seeing the guy check you out at the grocery store. You're not seeing these things because you're like this and you're only in your own thoughts. But when you change and open up to the thoughts that you want to see, you will start to see these things appear in your life. Okay?